And I don't see you losing any customers anytime soon, because the statistics show that the majority of men, I mean, I'm going to hit you guys with some interesting facts. Majority of men aren't having sex regularly. It's about 10% of men are having sex with 90% of the women. So you got a big chunk of guys not having their needs met and want to have some type of interaction. Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us on Dating Today, a conversation about modern dating issues.
Add it up.
My name is Brock, this is Carlos, and today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of OnlyFans. I have with me actually an OnlyFans model. Her name is Kimmi. Kimmi, say hi.
Hello.
Hey, Kimmi. She is somebody who I have been connected with through social media, which is kind of a norm nowadays. I have a lot of connections that way, and she has been absolutely fantastic through our interactions. She, great personality, really good sense of humor, and that's actually how I tell if I want to even interact with people, is because if they don't laugh at some of the stuff I do, then I'm just gonna break that connection. So you've been awesome. So
Thank you. I'm honored.
But what we're gonna be talking about today is OnlyFans, a little bit of the history of OnlyFans, some of the pros and cons in dating, but also it's, in my opinion, a source of good for so many people, including people like Kimmi, who's a single mom, taking care of her son and using the platform to take care of the family. Just wanted to kind of get into this. So obviously, OnlyFans has a certain stigma to it, and whether you agree with it or not, some people think that it's not the best thing for society, or that it's made some people maybe let's and I've got to be a little bit delicate through here just so we're able to keep their attention, but it has allowed a lot of people to have access to what Kimmi actually coined the other night, which was soft porn. It's a way of people to have a connection, which has been instrumental through COVID and the pandemic, and it's allowed actually people on the other side, the creator side, to create these accounts where they're able to have a fan base, where they're able to generate the type of money that typically wouldn't be achievable unless they had this type of platform. So OnlyFans has allowed so many single moms, so many people that lost their jobs, the opportunity to take care of themselves, take care of their family, and just get through all of this. But a lot of people want to make a career out of it, and that's fantastic. Something Kimmi and I talked about was, and this was one of the pros that I really thought was cool, was how it's allowed her to provide a need that society is always going to have, but in a very, very safe way. Kimmi, tell us a little bit about how you actually got into OnlyFans.
Well, I was comfortable starting an OnlyFans because my prior job was being a dancer in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So just to have to stop driving back and forth from Atlanta at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming home.
Sure. And
also it's just in my own room. So whenever I see my friends making really good money, sometimes even more than I was when I was a dancer, I was like, okay, so let me just go ahead and jump on this and try it out. If I don't like it, it's not like you're forced in. You're not signing a contract. You make your own schedule. So I was like, all right, well, that'll be fine. So I just made a page, and I was like, if this works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's been working out really, really good so far.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've had a page for a minute, but I'm just now starting to actually get the ball rolling. Mm-hmm. So I've been advertising more openly, like on my social media, my Instagram and Snapchat. Mm-hmm. I've started my page probably in November.
Okay.
Or no. No, September.
Okay.
Started in September.
So about 5-ish
Yeah.
months. Okay. And it's going pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. So under that very limited amount of time, has this replaced the money you were making in your other job?
Oh, by far. Yes.
Absolutely.
By far, yeah.
So one of the coolest things that you told me while we were having a discussion the other day, one of the pros that like it shot out to me, I was like, holy cow, I've never even thought about this, is how you're able to do this, like you said, on your own schedule, and you're able to do it and not have to put your child into daycare. You don't have to you don't have to leave. Like you get to be around your child all the time.
Yeah.
Like, tell us like what that means to you.
I mean, okay, not the daycare part. Let me just rephrase that because he definitely still goes to daycare. But just like, because I don't have to be away from him for 12 hours and
Sure.
come home at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
and he's pretty much about to wake up in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I've just been on my feet with 12-inch heels on.
Sure.
And in that industry, the dancing industry, there's women out there who literally have to, I mean, it's no choice. That's their only source of income. So sometimes they're leaving their kids with complete, total strangers.
Sure.
And that is a risk that they have to take in order for them to provide for that child.
Yeah.
And because some of them don't have, like I said when we talked, some of them don't have anyone to fall back on or to ask for help or to ask for guidance. They don't have a grandmother
Sure.
to ask, hey, can you watch my son? Or
And this is all women. This isn't people that are just like doing like
Yeah.
dancing or things like that. Like if you're an accountant, if you're a nurse, like you're having to find a place to put your child. Like, and you never fully know. I mean, even with family members, you never fully know though. Like,
yeah, even
if
with
they're being
family
taken
members,
care
that's
of.
a great point. Even with family members, yeah.
Yep. So that's awesome that that you're able to pick and choose when they go to daycare. You want a day off? Go to daycare.
Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally
And then
get,
you
totally,
make some-
totally get that. But Carlos and I, we were actually having a conversation about that, about OnlyFans, and obviously this is a dating podcast,
Right.
and how we kind of viewed, like if we were going to date somebody that was on OnlyFans, and that was actually how you reached out to me. Your very first question to me was like, "Do you know any guys that would be okay with me having an OnlyFans?" And I was like, I mean, I feel like I know quite a few that would be okay with you having an OnlyFans. And then like I proposed that question to Carlos, and we kind of had a discussion about that. What was it that we said?
I mean, honestly, I think what we got to was that it's about communication, right? And being about openness and communicating through it, right? We're all going to have a frame. We're all going to have opinions. We're all going to have standards.
Absolutely.
The question is, and usually the rub in any relationship is how you communicate those standards and how you either stick to them or don't.
Sure.
Right? You can have a standard, you can have an opinion, but don't make it a secret or don't bring it up 3 months down the road when
Absolutely.
you're like, oh, I'm okay with this. It's part of your life. It's how you provide for your child. And then throw that back in her face 3 months later when you're having an argument or, oh, you're always talking. Like,
Yeah.
you can't.
For sure.
You can't
She's
do
like,
that.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not fighting fair in any relationship, no matter what the topic is. And so I think this is a platform. You know, we explored this
We
as
did.
a membership base to like get people to view your content. You know, there's other things like it, Patreon, Twitch. Like this isn't a new thing. It just kind of has that stigma of, oh, that's inappropriate. Well,
Sure.
it's inappropriate because you think it's taboo and you don't communicate about it. So I think that was our
Yeah.
main communication.
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
it definitely was. She's like, yeah, absolutely.
You can't do that.
So
Yeah.
I've already mentioned you're a single mom.
Yep.
When you were dating the father of your child, how did all that kind of go down? Like he mentioned throwing in the face, and you're like, "Yup." What
yeah.
was that like?
Definitely. The thing was, and like you said, it's about communication and not selling you 3 months later into the relationship. Well, I didn't. I told him right then and there that I was a dancer. And I mean, he stayed, and he did exactly what you said. 3 months later, he threw it in my face, and you're a stripper, and I'm like, I mean, you know this, you know this, and he wasn't.
So you've been fine with it this whole time.
Yeah, but we didn't have Gray at the time, so that was probably a little bit different. But still, like even then, like should make it even. I don't know if like even more understand through his eyes. But I mean, like I said, I told him like 2 weeks into dating, and it literally I battled it back and forth. And I was like, when am I going to tell him? And then we're just sitting in the car at Walmart.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't know the blue. I was like, I'm a dancer. I was like,
I mean, how'd you get 2 weeks without saying what you do?
Oh, because I worked for my dad at the time too. I worked for my dad at the time too.
I gotcha. So that worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when the relationship wasn't in its healthiest place and you guys were separating, that's when he starts throwing everything.
Mm-hmm. And, like even when we were dating, he was still throwing it in my face, but then he would act like it's okay. And then,
he was okay with the money.
Yeah, he was very much okay with the money, but it was just like that's the only thing he could throw in my face, considering I'm guessing in his mind that's the only bad thing I was doing.
Okay.
That he could throw in my face.
Do you see it as a bad thing?
No, I do not. I mean, it's becoming it's a huge thing. That is like what is that? Almost like a, well, I know for a fact it's a multi-million-dollar industry.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Well, there's a million creators, 85 million users.
Yes.
From the stats we looked at, and it's probably gone up in the past week.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, probably in the past like 5 seconds.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, how long have we been rolling here?
More and more and more popular. So it's interesting because I would think that the big argument or the main point of contention for somebody who's dancing would be like, oh, the men are physically there. They're interacting with you.
Yep. They can touch you. You can escalate that.
Yeah, and the bouncers, I mean, he's going to get there and protect you eventually, but if the guy wants to smack you in the ass or kind of take it too far, he's going to do that anyway.
Yeah,
for sure.
If there's that boundary isn't, like, you can't cross that with OnlyFans. And I think that makes it, like we were talking about, a lot safer for you.
Yep.
But I would almost think that would take it, like, out of the guy's, like, arsenal or ammo. Like, oh, well, no, there's a boundary. Like, nobody can cross that boundary.
Yeah,
so
Has
interesting.
okay, so at that time, you were just a dancer, or were you doing OnlyFans also?
I was just a dancer. I don't even think OnlyFans was like an actual thing yet.
It was
Like,
probably just taking off.
Yeah, it was probably just taking
during the
off.
pandemic is when it just
It
it's really in the last
skyrocketed.
2 years.
What has the dating life been like since you've been doing that? I know you said it's September, but what's it been like the past year? Regarding OnlyFans, not just like your personal dating experience.
I mean, I talked to like a couple people, but then it's like it was always like it was a question, like, "Oh, how's your OnlyFans doing?" Or, "Hey, how much money you make? How many viewers do you have?" And I'm just like, why does it always have to be about my OnlyFans? Because then I start to think, okay, so do you have a problem with it, or would you only want to be with me if you thought I was gonna like take off and like be OnlyFans famous, and that's why you're asking all these questions? Because if I'm not, and you're like doing the math in your head or something, and you're not gonna want to be with me if I don't take off, and you're just a girl who did OnlyFans in your eyes, or so it's been like pick and choose. I wouldn't say that I've actually tried to start dating, because that's always in the back of my head. Literally, always.
So you've like just kind of like shied away from the dating because you're like this is gonna come up. So why even try if I already know like someone's gonna have an issue?
I can say that I've been just like way more picky and kind of like, I don't want to say biased, but I've been like thinking of, I feel like this guy is gonna ask me about this and he's not going to be cool about it, and stuff like that. So I just kind of just don't really even approach it, even if they're in the DMs and saying some good stuff that's pretty lucrative, and I'm like, oh no, never mind.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't say I've shied away. I've gone on a couple dates, and I'm always honest, and
good.
So some of them are just not.
I would say, so when you're being honest, you're going on these few dates, what is that reaction? Is it met with silence? Is it met with hostility? Is it met with like, hey, we're splitting the check? I mean, how is this being? Or she's taking care of the whole time since she's killing it on OnlyFans? Or like, how are we?
Okay, so no, one guy was by dead silence. One guy choked on his drink a little bit. He was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." It's like, you want to subscribe? No, I'm just kidding. But then there's
You want to subscribe?
But I told him, and then the last guy, I wasn't ghosted, but he kind of just treated me more like a hookup, like a booty call, as you would say.
Yeah.
So
How'd that make you feel?
I mean, that didn't make me feel any type of way, because at that point I kind of expected either to go that way or just be ghosted. So It's like you kind of have to like mentally prepare yourself for those type of situations, doing this type of stuff, even the dancing, even anything in the industry, like the porn, the exotic dancing industry. You're gonna have to prepare yourself for, and I wouldn't even call it rejection, but in a way it is.
Sure.
Because they're still gonna want you around, and I thought that's always the like weird thing, because these people I went on dates with, I mean, they still hit me up, like, hey, let's go out, let's go have a drink, but then it's just like nothing never goes further than that. So,
and you're pretty sure it's because OnlyFans?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
So, if OnlyFans is this barrier, what would it take from the man for you to consider, we're done with OnlyFans? What would it take?
Wow, it's a tough question. I mean, if
he'd obviously have to be super confident.
Yes.
You'd have to, and then like not have much of an issue with it. But obviously, for you to, and then the reason you're in this, the reason you're doing OnlyFans is to take care of your family.
Yeah.
So he would have to be able and willing to step up into that role of provider. Like is that what it would take, or would you still be like, hey, you can be number one, but I'm still going to be doing my thing?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to like really think about that to see if that could be something that could be discussed, but I'm not going to let it ruin a relationship that I would enjoy being in for the rest of my life if like marriage was going to be the thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, and one, it would have to be, okay, well, if I stop this and you're not either getting ready to pop the question or wanting to be in my life completely, considering I have a kid, why would I want to stop doing something that helps provide for me?
For sure.
Until he's at that age where I can just stop doing that and it's easier for me. But I'm not going to just stop it, and he's not even sure yet if he wants to take this step further.
And I think that's super tough, because I think and I'm going to just talk about from my perspective as a guy, for me to be willing to take those next serious steps, I wouldn't want you on OnlyFans. So there's like this like almost like catch that you've got to do. It's like, are you going to catch this? Like, are you going to, if you stop, well, like I can take it more seriously, or vice versa. Like that's a very difficult balance that you're in. Yeah, definitely seeing that for you.
Yeah.
And what most guys, and you said this, is like initially, if they don't have an issue with it, they think it's hot. They're like, oh man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be out of this world. And a few months in, like your ex, it's like starts wearing on them. And I guess like for the woman audience, they're probably wondering like, well, why is that? Like, why does it only get so far? It's because men, after so long, start viewing their woman completely different. Initially, we view you, and I'm probably gonna get chastised for this, but it's a very, very sexual thing. Yes, don't get me wrong. There's the mental connection, there really is, but we are seeing it as a sexual situation, and eventually it moves into a more serious dynamic. We start really having feelings, and that's what's developed, and then we start like, hey, is this person a good representation of who I am, or are they wife material, or are they mom material, and what types of things must that person have? And I think that the stigma that OnlyFans has is kind of creating a barrier for you. And I want to challenge the guys right now when they are thinking about that. It's like, oh, is this wifey materials. Like, I don't know, is taking care of your child regardless of social like stigma, like, is that wife material? Because I kind of think it is. Like, hey, you're going to take care of your child no matter what anybody says. Like, you're going to make sure they don't go hungry or go wanting. That in itself is very sexy. That's very admirable. And I don't think that part of the whole situation is ever really talked about. So definitely want to give you props on that, because when we were talking the other night, I was like, oh my, like I paused for a second. Like, you can look, well, you can't. I was looking back and I was like, man, I like paused for like a good 5 seconds. Like, holy cow. She's like, doesn't give a crap about what people are saying, family included, taking care of her kid. That is amazing, because we even talked about this. Like, well, what if like down the road, when your kid's like in 4th or 5th grade and someone says something about that and you're like, doesn't matter. I fed them. I took care of them. I clothed them. I housed them. Like, that was how I was able to do it. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome. So I like that quite
Thanks.
a bit. Yeah, no, that was awesome. Carlos, what do you have? Any other thoughts on this?
Well, no, I think the biggest question that we kind of want to ask, or I want to ask, is, do you think that this is a fad, or is this kind of a big transition of people moving from dancing in the strip club environment to, no, I'm going to do this at home. I'm going to produce my content. I'm going to do it for a couple hours a day. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to travel. I'm going to move around. Like, do you think this is here to stay, or do you think this is just because of the pandemic?
No, it's definitely going to be here to stay. I mean, you got to think like Pornhub almost, pretty much. I mean, everybody thought that was fad. I definitely thought it was a fad, but now they're even making like clothing and stuff with the and like everything. So no, I don't think it's going to be a fad. One, because this is easy home money. Two, the strip clubs are even back open because of the pandemic. They're back open, and in that industry, there's just so much room for everyone to make money. Yeah. Even if there was like another website to come out, OnlyFans will still be there.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, and then like the webcam. I mean, it's just a huge. I will give it that OnlyFans is like a bigger cam girl, cam whatever. But not only that, it's just something like those ASMR people can go on there and go do something and charge for it, besides doing it through like YouTube or whatever. Sure. So I don't think just because it's like such a multi-purpose website and people keep giving it that bad name because of OnlyFans, I'm guessing is because it first started off for the reason that I'm in it. But now it's just gotten so, like, there's so much stuff on there, workout stuff and models and stuff are on there. I mean, it's a subscription. It's a subscription site. So
again, like, I was going to put my content on there, but our conversation was kind of what society says is like, do I want to put my content where everybody thinks automatically like, oh, this is where people are going to have like porn or soft porn taking place? Like, well, I don't know. Maybe society is not ready for that just yet. No. So, we chose a couple different platforms. But down the road, I mean, as society warms up, or if you want to say becomes desensitized to certain things, I could definitely see some of my content being on there. But Carlos is actually really involved in paying attention to the Metaverse. Yeah. So what do we see in terms of the Metaverse and OnlyFans? Like,
yeah, I think it's only going to grow. And that's kind of why I asked you. Like, this isn't just about, like, the sexual industry. Like, growing and putting your content out there is only going to continue to grow, and being able to be in person with somebody or see somebody through that lens, I think that's a powerful thing. And honestly, it's going to be scary because you're going to be able to feel like you're with a person right there. And I think it makes it safer for them.
Yes.
For sure.
You know, there's not that. And I said it earlier, there's just a natural barrier where some creep could walk into a strip club and be a creep and physically like be a creep.
Or
like,
follow you to your car,
yeah,
or just like so
whatever.
many dangers.
Yeah.
So this like just takes all that stuff out.
It takes it all away, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And one of the things that we talked about, and really all of media takes its cue from the porn industry and from the sex industry. And so I think you're starting to see that like membership model be a big thing, and you know, maybe that's just the catalyst.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't see you losing any customers anytime soon, because the statistics show that the majority of men, I mean, I'm going to hit you guys with some interesting facts. Majority of men aren't having sex regularly. It's about 10% of men are having sex with 90% of the women. So you got a big chunk of guys not having their needs met and want to have some type of interaction.
Yep.
So having people that they can just message and like, you know, have an interaction with you, like that does so much for their mental well-being, just not feeling so alone. So yeah, I don't see you running out of any customers anytime soon.
I hope not.
But let's see here, and you know, as you continue on this journey, I definitely wish you luck. And again, I just want to call out some of the guys that might look at this with a extremely negative point of view. The people that are using this platform to provide for their families really needs to be focused on a lot more than people thinking, oh, it's just easy money, and all the negative type of conversations that I hear about it. Oh, they're doing this, and it's decreasing their value. And don't get me wrong, in a way, I can kind of see that, but you have to understand the needs of the person that's doing this, and their family is priority number one. It takes a lot of strength to understand that their responsibilities to their child and to their family is first above all, and to be able to put aside societal expectations and societal acceptance is massive in terms of strength. And I just want everybody to kind of pay attention to that next time that you're casting some negative light, or you're saying something negative about that industry, because through this conversation, I think a lot of people have had their eyes opened, and we've seen that this is actually a really, really good platform that can do a lot of good for a lot of people, and keeping people safe.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
So, you guys have anything else?
Yeah, no, I think it shouldn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. You know, if it does matter to you, there's a million other people you can go date.
It's very
you
true.
know? And for her, she wants to be on the platform. There's millions of other people who want to be on the platform.
Literally,
you know?
statistics.
Yeah, a lot
like
of
millions.
You know, there's gonna be some dude maybe that you find on that platform, and,
Yep.
and that's a match. You know, there's so many people out there. There's so much opportunity to judge and be stuck on that moment. It's
For sure.
stupid for me. So.
Yeah, I just think that people, like you said, do need to be way more open-minded. There's a couple people that I know who are actually doctors who do it. There's lawyers who do it. There's some high-end people.
But here's the thing:
in our own
those are
town
people.
that do
Those people
it.
are
So-
also subscribing.
Yeah.
they're subscribing.
I can't-
The people that you respect most in society are subscribing to this as well. So, like, that's the part
They're even
where
subscribing.
Yep.
So, and the thing is you would never understand how many people have actually wanted to see, in my experience, who have wanted to see me naked. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, because it's people that I've known for ever since like middle school or something. And these are the people who still share these things, these memes and stuff on Instagram. I'm like, dude, you're literally one of my subscribers. And it's just like really backhanded or very hypocritical. And it's crazy because, like you said, people not being you think that you're not being a good mom or a good parent. I have my son, I cook him breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All organic stuff. Like everything is cooked from scratch. I mean, he has like a closet full of clothes, a bunch of toys. That doesn't make you a bad person,
Right.
And it shouldn't affect how people look
as long
at
as
you
you're
or
not
judge your
hurting
character.
anybody else, like, and you're not.
No.
Like there's nothing.
Why does it matter?
It does
Yeah.
not matter.
No.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
so I don't know. It's
Nice.
just boobs.
Well, just wanted to thank you again for joining us on
you for
Dating
having
Today. This conversation was awesome. I'm trying to think of what other things I need to say. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, thanks, Kimmy, so much. Carlos, thank you again for all your
always.
insight, and we will see you guys next time.
Add it up.